IIT, there is something called, if you ask people or if you talk about them, one very obvious answer already pre-inclined to succeed, and therefore it is no surprise that everyone gets into an IIT. So some people used to comment about T-Hub, about you should have been targeting 90% or 95% or something, but that is not on what exactly is their product going to be, which is their market, what is the technology. They are also in the trial and error kind of a phase, but the support that they get in an incubator or an innovation center like the T-Hub actually make your DNA. How do you select a startup? How do you onboard a startup? What kind of people, experienced people, experts, and so on and so forth. So how do you ensure it is eventually going to ensure that this 90-10 fallacy is completely broken? Dozens and dozens of other institutions also which have shown success, have created some template, which have created some model, and now is the time to put together what exactly will be the SOP and how will it be is what we should do. And as ISBA, I guess if you take that responsibility, I'll be willing to give personal time to help you create that. Based on last 10 years experiences, that in institutions like T-Hub and others, we do have much more access to digital tools and gadgets, etc. And we are completely missing out on people's side by side to this is that, see, many of us are from India, and so there is some kind of protest. So what does it mean with them? They have reconciled to this life that these problems will remain with us and there's no solution at all. But again, this is a myth. The real problems. There could be a problem in agriculture, there could be a problem related to getting health services, problem related to education. These are the solutions which are not scientific. The person who has created that solution may not know what principle of physics is, but he has found a practical way of solving. We must reach out, we must open the doors to the our institutions, to people who are, let us say, from. But if you went to T-Works also, you would have realized that it's also a very amazing place. It has amazing prototyping facilities. So now he's working on a concept, mobile T-Works. So he wants to, even if you set something in a district, there could be still some barrier, because these are institutions. Even you go to a T-Hub or a T-Works, you will notice that these are not very kind of a people-friendly. Lots of people who come to Hyderabad actually go there to take photographs there, which is all nice, but it and structure it and give it a shape and integrate it with some of the regular things that we do. I mean, to do some kind of a inclusivity focused outreach, these premier blue chip incubators in Hyderabad. The third thing which I want to share is, and again, you have not put any timer or anything, but anyway, I'll just take a few minutes more. So it reminds me of a very interesting Indian school of business, and one conducted there. It was a visioning exercise. Actually, the title to demand a separate state was because of this kind of a belief and a perception that from this region, which is now the state of Telangana, they were kind of not getting anything. All the opportunities were getting opportunities. Everything has gone knocked away by the other side. There, they gave this suggestion that technology can be a big game changer. You must become a state which uses technology. That who will provide this technology? And then the answer came that if you look at the global experiences, of course there are large, there are other kind of science and technology programs, but if you really look around, you will notice that the state should also become very encouraging of startups. So that was a message which was very. Hyderabad was not such a thriving city for startup activities. Bangalore and Gurgaon and possibly Chennai at IIT incidentally has the first country's oldest campus-based incubator called the CIE, and then the third one was in Genome Valley. Startups to understand what do they expect from the government, what can we do. So in his, it was a classroom We were seated here, the startups were seated there. And the question which, if you stay away from us, that is the best thing that you can do to us. So where these kind of answers come from? In India, this answer, this narrative rather, has been popularized by the IT industry. Every platform, that Indian IT industry has become so big because the government stayed away from it. That is all the Infosys and Wipros and all the required people. The people came from the education system, which was supported by the government. So it's not, but the reality is that the government can do lots of things. So this is the point which I was trying to tell you. I notice even in T-Hub and T-Works and other places, as a government, we have taken a very conscious decision that we will not help him in so many ways. I meaning not me personally, but the government can help him in so many ways. But no one brought them to us, or no one asked us for. But unfortunately, we are brought pretty late in the conversation, or we are not brought in the conversation at all. And that you should give an equity, or you can do something else. Our help is just for the sake of helping, just to ensure that you do its role. But much more can be delivered or leveraged from the state governments. So whichever state, be it a co-working space, if you are in our state, and it need not be in Hyderabad, I know that there are some institutions in Warangal in which you think that you can collaborate in making Hyderabad. Whatever we have done is already, in my opinion, we have.
And the Executive Director, PSG STEP, to please come forward and felicitate. Lined up for today. I request, I know that we are slightly ahead of the time a little bit, I mean like 20 minutes, that would be great, and we are really thankful for accommodating those sessions in a very short period. Yeah, thank you so much.
A wonderful introduction to all his panelists, and I cannot do justice. Also, we are running short of time. I also call upon Ms. Renuka Bodla, who's also a partner at Silver Needle Ventures.
By the way, the first time I attended ISBACON was in 2014. We've come a long way since then. Renuka?
The investor there, as well as a mentor in Hojis MedTech. And also I had been part of a couple of investment firms as well.
We ran into the same people, which was good, but also kind of, I ran the IIIT Incubator, as you mentioned. But I've been an entrepreneur myself. I've been in the biotech space. I've been in the software space. I grew up in England. But the point is that what we are today and what we used to do will not fly in the world versus what it used to be like back in 2014.
Sure. I remember when I was in my 11th grade, I still remember that all I wanted was some more illustration. He's like so ahead of what we were normally expecting. So the trend is aspiring to join, and their demands are equally demanding, as I was telling about my daughter. So how do we panel discussions or pitching events, which are like one of the events that happens, the technology enablement there, because the traditional forms of the connect are not saying is that a lot of corporates are willing to work with the startup ecosystem. For example, I was part of a pharma company where I was heading their how strong our PMO processes are is very important. A lot of time maybe startups may not have the required resources to, will really help more collaboration because there are big bucks in the startup, in the corporate,
I think that what is required today is depth. Breadth has already happened. We've got, I believe, over 1,100 incubators.
I agree. I think there's a lot of puzzle pieces all over the place. I think that's, it's time for...
I think before I address that one, there are two different lenses by which I want you to think through to the fullest extent. Can you help challenge them to do some of that? But you can... the ecosystem, to your question about how it's evolving, Studio is essentially what we call institutional co-founder of companies. It's not just about volume anymore. It's not how many startups go through your doors. It's how many of them succeed.
Rightly said, tracking the journey of the startup. It's not just about like if a tenure has ended in an incubator. I think
Reason, etc. You have to make sure they all win their games.
they want to be more independent, and maybe they're seeing.
Levels they have. They want to for sure about who they work with. We're a venture studio. We work with startups at the early stages. We take up to 20% equity, and we're seeing incredibly all these sort of things. But it is about depth again. And if you have a few that have succeeded, then others will come to you.
Definitely. And depth and...
Maybe you can just get the mic. We're not looking at the core technology. The core technology we expect you to have, right? But what happens with a lot of deep tech companies, they're not part of your team directly. Can you engage them from the ecosystem?
Right. Yeah, I want to share but the only thing that stresses him out is on raising funds. He's so good with his technology, building. I think that's where I am. I just want to relate to what you're saying. Thank you.
Yeah, so we're done with time. I do want to say one thing, which is that as we have a very seasoned team that's worked on a bunch of different startups in the past. We've actually created a free ChatGPT.
CEO, Science and Technology Park, Government of India, to felicitate Srinivas and Renuka. Let us now keep abreast of session 3.
Thank you so much. Dr. Balchandran. Hello, sir.
Good afternoon. So this is an important topic. Corporate get launched as soon as possible. So in this process, comes to get engaged with startups, either through Open Innovate, HP, Cisco, all had those, the Xerox's, the commercial outcomes. So in this context, the industry association itself, Marathwada Chamber of Commerce and Industries, we also have with us Mr. Sachin, who is from Incubators. We have seen several banks coming forward and coming up with startup-specific products in the market, and also the bank went to the campuses to identify some early innovations. And so would you like to elaborate on the current happenings?
Getting into the startup space because of the fact that ICICI have also been trying to ensure that we get into this space in a more relevant manner. So we came out with a lot of policy changes, a lot of new products which are more suitable for the startup. So therefore, the products and solutions, other policy level changes which we made. But we decided consciously that to a particular extent we can ensure that they become successful and invest direct funds into them, taking some equity over there. Also, we started a program wherein
including family offices, HNI. But in addition to that, do you also provide opportunities for fintech startups to...
Because everybody will have their own problem statement. So what we do, we collate those problem statements, acceleration program in mobile, and see that how it
company predominantly into instrumentation. And so what are laboratories? But beyond that, do you have some avenues for some early access with the startups?
We can start with the journey of the startup and we can work with them until they grow up also. It's within the country. In fact, within Hyderabad, we have an in R&D space. So we have an antibody development center in Thermo Fisher Scientific collaborated with ICMR, NIV, as well as Serum Institute, Bharat Biotech. So it is not to how it will be helpful in a startup environment is, when you look at companies like Thermo Fisher Scientific, so we have invested in more than 5 bio startups in the country, bio incubators in the incubators, so that people can get upskilling. They can chips from stalwarts in the industry. So that is second aspect. We give access when we upskill the people. And you can bet on us for commercialization. We spent more than 2 decades in commercial. Has some raw material from us or maybe some technology collaboration. Helped them build the regulatory confidence, regulatory technical know-how in terms of how to cross those hurdles.
Association taking a lead and establishing the incubation center in its own premises, community. Basically, Marathwada region is relatively backward region in terms of development. In one of the sessions which was meant for upcoming organizations which wants of startups are, we try and fulfill that with the help of member units of the chamber. So we have startup is met through the board members and the extended members of the chamber.
So they are bootstrapped in the beginning, and then they have an idea. Then they decide to. It's very unlikely that it will happen because of the fact that number one, it is pre-revenue. Number two, they don't pre-revenue in the sense that they will not be able to very focused on their products and solutions and technology. That sort of kind of network for the as far as investors are concerned. So probably they're the bankers and PVC firms with the family offices, HNI clients going in. That's the ideal time we take them to our set of HNI clients and family offices. So we sit with the we sit to our customers. At that point in time, there is no get in touch with the founder. So we do that. We patch them up, founder and the
Facilitation? No.
It is centrally managed because of the fact that not every time you will find an founder and the investor or
Sciences space. So if you could also throw some light on how incubators in the life sciences and biotech can engage with you to get this facility.
Startups within that incubator, but also in an access in terms of for an upskilling journey.
Right. Thanks. I think beyond CSR, there are plenty of other opportunities.
Thank you, esteemed panel, for enlightening us on this very wonderful initiative that the corporates are taking to support the startup.
CEO, CIC. Support, we all have one step of hesitation to do that. So today I take this privilege to some of the staff. She'll be representing from Thailand. Sumithil sir, the floor is yours.
So finally we are here, and we had in fact packed our things and we were ready to leave to the incubators. That's one question. The second is the same question, but the word incubator gets replaced by incubator managers here as to how they can go for internationalization. I will not
speak anymore. I'll take your mic. That's a dangerous incubation manager strategy. We have BIRAC to provide the initial grant funding, but we also wanted to look at funding from outside. The first thing that we did that could leverage this. So I think when we talk of internationalization from an incubator point they're coming, it is basically to provide a new perspective for global expansion.
And also thank you so much for the invitation to be here on this panel. My name is Adishri. I represent incubators from both the sides. The startups said no one has ever asked us this before, so it's really interesting. So we took up, and as much as we love to increase the visibility of Germany in India, we would also like to increase the visibility.
To joy and to witness the vibrant on the local network on incubators ecosystem in Thailand. We have around 40 members. The reason why I'm saying that is that this is the way that to answer your first question. Collaboration is not just to enter the new market. It is we want thing to happen, not just talk and connect and that's it. So we start the what we call about one year of co-acceleration program together. What happened, the Chinese incubators, and they also get some help in the mental. Yes, I think it's high time that we do something together. So let me put as well, because they propelled the economic growth of a nation.
British government here in India, please, for your remarks.
The approach of the UK government to supporting incubators. One of the programs I think is important, it's really good to highlight, is three focuses on many of the incubators the UK government supports through our research councils, and to give a centre focused on responsible AI, and that will bring together all the stakeholders in the UK. We have a number of catapults, in particular, in very. So Innovate UK has a program with T-Hub, which will be about a 2-year program.
This is buried right now, 4:30 AABI RB. So right now I'm the sabbatical. So due to that, university in Seoul. So with